Hi guys glitch, hi guys glitch, hi guys glitch. Hi guys, welcome back to the Cheese Spot where we spill, heal. Hi guys, it's a well due needed. What English am I saying? भैया आवाज मत करो अभी वापस करूँ या ये हो गया. Another thing is that are you act ये वाला हाथ आ रहा है मेरा. The important एक सेकंड. हाँ
पूरी खानी
हाँ
पूरी कुछ खाना
सेव पूरी ले आओ.
ओके
Bye. Lastly, let me tell you what a real healthy relationship is.
6.5 hours later.
Lastly, let me tell you what a real healthy relationship looks. What is wrong with me?
1 eternity later.
What are real healthy relationships? I'm again in that. Before you start a podcast, just remember if you're in a joint family, you can't do it at home for a longer time. Hi guys, welcome to the G Spot where we spill, heal, and feel. Whether you're baking, overthinking, healing, or just hanging out, you're at the right spot. Today's episode is called Modern Relationships Decoded. It is a heavy topic, and I think it's well needed because I really needed to hear some of these things that nobody told me, and I went through a lot, my share of stuff. But before I start this episode, I really want to say one thing. No matter how much gender neutral I've been in the videos and everything I've tried to do in the past on social media, I cannot talk from a man's perspective after an extent because I am not a man. What I am is a girl. So I'm going to talk to my girlies for this one because a girl can understand another girl's pain very well. So I'm just going to talk to my girlies for this particular episode. Let's be honest, dating in 2025 feels like a group project. You don't know who the leader is, you don't know who's actually involved in that project, who's emotionally available, and who has the time. It is very confusing, and there are a lot of problems associated with it. So, the first thing I want to talk about is problems of modern dating. People want connection without commitment, intimacy without the vulnerability, and a relationship without the effort. And that's the sad truth of today's generation and today's society. We end up being so scared to open up to somebody and to get hurt, but somehow we give all our time to these situationships that are not leading to anything. And when I typed in the word situationship in the script today, it gave me like a little red line because it's not even a word, guys. It's invented by some people who want an easy way out, who don't want to break up, and who want the relationship to be over without a lot of mess. But let's be real, a situationship, always ends up hurting somebody, may it be the guy or the girl. It is not as mess free as it seems like. It is not no drama. It's just that it's drama that people can't talk about because they were in a situationship. So they're not allowed to get hurt. But we all cry after situationships end. I've been there, you've been there, all my friends have been there. So anybody who says situationships are easy, it's only easy for the person who wanted to be in a situationship, not for the person who got attached, not for the person who started liking the other person and XYZ. Out of some things that I like old school, the one thing I like the most is relationships old school because it was so easy. You tell somebody you like them, they tell you how they feel, you come in a relationship, it works out great, it doesn't work out, you break up. Bas, khatam. And then now it's like, do you want to tell that person you like them? Do you think you should tell them you like them, or should you play hard to get? And if you tell that to the other person and they tell you how they feel, are they saying the truth, or are they messing around with you, or are they just liking the phase that's in the beginning? And then if you guys both feel for each other, do you want a relationship, situationship, fling, a hookup, a nano ship? What is it? What do you want? It's a never ending dictionary of words that didn't even exist. Why can't it be simple, old, we like each other, let's come in a relationship? All of these words, honestly, I don't get. I have probably been in things that were not a relationship, but being in one, I'm telling you, they're not fun, they're not pretty, and I don't recommend being in one at all. Modern relationships, in a sentence, is literally I like you, but I don't want something more because I'm not emotionally available at the moment. And that somehow is normal to everybody, and we're all nodding our heads like, yeah, that's completely understandable. I accept where you're coming from. How is that normal and why is that normal? Why are we accepting this is my biggest question till date. And why have I accepted it in the past is still baffling to me. I don't understand how we say okay in the moment, like we feel so bad for this person for being emotionally unavailable. You think I have all the emotional time in this world. You think I'm free and I have nothing to do. I make time because I want to make time. You are not making time on in your mind, in your life, in your day because you don't want to. And इतनी simple चीज़ हमें समझ भी नहीं आती कभी कभी. The second thing, which is very close to the first thing, is called the situationship era, where you're basically doing everything that you do in a relationship. You go out for dates, you go out for movies, you talk all day, you're spending time, you're gifting each other stuff, but you're not in a relationship. It's like a diet relationship. Coke, that Coke. Do you get the reference? I know it's a stupid analogy, but come on. It's everything without calling each other boyfriend, girlfriend. It is still confusing to me having been in one, I think. I'm still not sure if I was in one. That's how confusing it is. It's it's so weird because people want to be with you, but they're not 100% sure of their feelings, so they end up giving this tag to it. But it ends up confusing both of you so much that you don't know where this is going. You don't even know when this will end. There is no clarity whatsoever. It's all of the feelings and none of the clarity. And somehow we accept it because we don't want to ruin the vibe or lose the person. But babe, the person's already not yours and the vibe is already ruined. But nobody tells you that. I wish that I had more honest friends when I was going through these things because now at least my friends don't give me bullshit like, yeah, you should try and talk to him. At least they'll tell me that, babe, this is not where you should put your time and energy. And that's what I tell my friends. So if you're somebody's friend and somebody's going through something like this, just tell them it's not worth it. This is not going to go anywhere. Because I'll give you an example. So when my boyfriend and me, when we were friends at that time, and we wanted to, like, we had feelings for each other and we talked about it, the first conversation we had was about commitment, about what commitment we should give each other or what we need. And the first thing he said was, I want you, I'm sure of this. You could be my girlfriend tomorrow. And that's what people say when they want to be with you. Not that, oh, I'm not sure about where this is going at the moment and I'm not sure what to do about it. That's not what people say. And trust me when I tell you, there is a girl that every guy bends his rules for and changes himself for and his normal ways for. If he's not doing that for you, it's because you're not that girl for him. But that means that you're that girl for somebody else out there. And I am so glad that none of this happened for me before this relationship because I would have never ended up in this one. So it is all for a reason. If somebody is treating you with confusion and not giving you clarity, that is a sign to run. Run. Give yourself some time before you find somebody who gives you all of that. Because somebody who really wants you will not be in this situationship for one day. It will be a relationship from the beginning. It will have clarity, commitment, its own rules, and if it works out, amazing. But if it doesn't work out, you break up. At least you know what it is and how it's like, and it's black and white. Not like that. And it's not fun being in a confused state all the time because you're not even happy. You don't even realize how long this happiness is going to last for. It could end tomorrow. It could go on for a year. It's not fair to you, and I don't think you should put yourself through that at all. To sum it up, I'm not saying situationships are wrong. You're free to make your mistakes. I would have never learned and be sitting here and talking to you about this if I hadn't made those mistakes. But in my opinion, situationships give you a lot of anxiety and uneasiness, which is not easy to live with. You are an amazing human being. I hope that you get all the happiness in the world. But for happiness, you also need security, clarity, reassurance, and commitment. So just make sure you're getting that, no matter where you are and who you're with. A very, very important segment that I want to talk about was we catch feelings for the literal bare minimum. It's like this much. It's, oh, I'll get the bill, I'll get the door. Have you eaten something today? Did you get home safely? And we think that we should get their names tattooed. Bro, it's so funny how I remember the first time somebody treated me right, and I told my best friend that, like, oh, like he was on call with me the entire time I was going home after meeting him. And she laughed at me and she was like, yeah, that's the bare minimum. But because of this confused era and this generation, we forget that bare minimum is not romance. Bare minimum is stuff that people should do, and on top of that, there should be a lot of things that a guy does to make you feel special. Getting the door for you, or calling you, or asking if you reached home safely is not romantic. Is not something you need to blush about. It's something you should be used to. And I'm sorry for myself and you all that we're not used to it. But we really need to be used to it. It's been 30 something years that my dad has been with my mom, and I have grown up seeing him do all of these things. And it has been 30 years, and he's still doing all of these things. Whereas we're okay with a guy who doesn't. So, at least for me, because I have seen my dad doing this while growing up, my brother doing it, my boyfriend does it for me. At least for me, I know that it's the bare minimum. But I have learned this the hard way. I did not know this 2 years ago. I know this now. I just think we need to give ourselves a little more credit and understand what we deserve and not to settle for it, man. There's a lot of time to find somebody who can give you his 100%. And if that cannot be done, then maybe it's just better to be alone for now. You have your friends, you are enjoying your life, you can go out, you can focus on your hobbies, your career. There is no point in giving yourself to somebody who doesn't really want you 100%. I don't think we fall for people anymore. We fall for people, we fall for how they make us feel in that moment. Like, oh, he asked me something nice about me and he asked me a question, so he likes me or I like him. But it's more like a long process of knowing somebody, understanding how they react in anger, how they react in sadness, and then realizing that if you're in love with, in or not. It's not in a 1 second or a one conversation thing. It's like a long process. You don't buy something, like you don't buy furniture just by looking at it. You take your time, you understand the comfort level, you understand it can take your weight. So when you're in a relationship, why do you jump in? You need to take time to understand if this person is even ready to handle a person like you. If he's ready to take on your emotional trauma, emotional baggage that you come with. Some people genuinely don't have the bandwidth to deal with people. They are not ready for a relationship. And you end up jumping in one and you get hurt. It's not even some people's fault sometimes. Like if they're not ready for a relationship, they're just not ready. But if you end up jumping in a relationship with them, you're the one who'll get hurt because they actually don't have it in them to give you anything. So it's something to think about. The next thing is communication versus mixed signals. The one thing I love about this generation is how open we are. We communicate a lot. No matter what anybody says in this entire world about this generation, we communicate a lot. We text, we video call, we have social media, we have other forms of communication, a lot of forms of communication. And somehow, in all of this communication, the important bits get left out. All of this, nobody tells us what's really important, what they really feel about, what's really going on in your day. It's a lot of mixed signals like, hey, I like you, but not too much. I don't want you to leave, but also don't expect anything from me. It's like you say one thing and you also say the other thing at the same time, and somehow I'm supposed to be okay with both the things. And I'm telling you, sitting here confidently and talking to you about it does not mean I've not done all of these things. I have handled all of these things being with somebody who's told me, I'm indirectly that, like, oh, I'm not going to change, but I expect you to stay with me. And I've stayed because I did not know better. I did not understand anything at that point. But now that I understand it, I hope that you don't have to go through all of that and understand it. Somebody who, I have said this on Instagram, I've said this in another podcast video, somebody who has not changed 5 times after you telling them to change will not change after 15 either. They are not going to change. So you need to run away and leave before it's too late, before it's too bad for your mental health. Another thing why I think we end up closing ourselves off a lot and we end up being shut down a lot is because we're scared. The biggest thing that I have realized across this generation is that we're very vulnerable, we're very scared. And a lot of guys, particularly, don't talk about this, but like a lot of my guy friends have told me that the reason why they don't want to commit is because they're so scared. We're all guys and girls, we're scared of being abandoned, we're scared of being cheated on, we're scared of being mentally so hurt by somebody, we're scared of being broken up with. All of these fears actually turn us into a worse person because we're so shut down, we guard ourselves so much, we have these walls up that we end up not giving our 100% to that person in that relationship. And that ends up being bad for us as well. Because no matter how much you want to love somebody and care for somebody, if you can't give your 100%, if you can't get your walls down, they're not going to get to you. That is going to be a half hearted relationship and it's not going to work out. As somebody who has had her walls up a lot, it literally took my boyfriend ages to get me to talk to him. When I used to be upset, I used to shut down. I did not used to talk about it. I didn't tell him what I'm feeling, why I'm upset, because I used to feel the scared, like the fear of fighting. In my mind, I was like, I just don't want to fight. So I won't tell him. But how am I going to ever fix anything between us if I don't tell him? How am I going to work on this relationship or do anything if I don't tell him how I feel? So I started trying and opening up a little bit about how I feel, and things are better. Yes, sometimes we fight, we're human beings, but a lot of times it makes my heart a lot lighter because I've told him what I'm feeling and it's done. Like it's out. And then he tells me what he's feeling and we're okay. And then at least I can concentrate on something else and not bother myself the entire time with this. When we pretend not to care, we act cool, we act hard to get, we like the chase or whatever. It's it's like in our mind it's telling us that we're stronger because we're pretending that we don't give a shit about this thing. So we're very strong. But at the same time it takes away so much mental space and mental like emotional, I don't know the word for it. You understand what I mean. Like it takes so much energy from you to act like you don't care. We all need somebody sometimes. We all want to be vulnerable. We all want to cry. So, should we just stop pretending and open up to somebody we love or we care about? Do you have to act cool when you're not feeling cool from inside? I don't know. It's just my 2 cents on this. It's still a very wobbly topic in my mind, but I feel like I have a lot of times in my life where I was feeling vulnerable and I felt like I couldn't talk to this person or I shouldn't. I've just acted like I don't give a shit. But I have given a lot of shit to that topic or person in that moment. So I now just, if I'm affected by something and if I'm upset, I just say it. No matter how upset I am. I can't pretend anymore. I'm not cool like that. I feel things and I'm going to talk about them, and it is what it is. And somebody who loves me is going to have to deal with it and is going to have to be there for me like I am there for him. And that's why it's working out between us. So it's just something to think about. Another thing is that are you actually compatible or is it just fun? Chemistry is fun, compatible is boring. Chemistry is butterflies and compatible is the efforts. Chemistry is the spark and compatible is the boring relationship. A lot of times we end up chasing the spark. You know, you've heard in movies and series and probably seen in real life as well. We like the chase. Yeah, everybody likes the chase. We like to chase and we like to be chased because it's fun. It's that phase where you don't know if you're going to get that person, what they're going to say, what it's going to be like. It's all fun. It's all very exciting. Once you come together and once you are in that relationship and you know that person is yours and you're that person's XYZ, it becomes boring in your mind. Because what now? What's new? When you're actually compatible, it is going to be boring. It's going to be the same mundane days every day. It's going to be the same routines every day because that person matches your life. I have realized it the hard way that, and I've also realized it with experience, that chemistry is not compatibility. It's not the same thing. So be careful about what you're choosing with somebody. And if relationships are feeling very exciting in the beginning and frustrating in the latter part of it, it's because it's probably based on chemistry and not compatibility. Remember that. Lastly, what a real healthy relationship looks like. There is a lot of fighting. Everybody fights. Even in movies, even in series, people are shown fighting. Probably not as much, but you cannot go through life without fighting. There are fights because a fight makes you stronger. A fight tells you what this other person does not like, how I react when the other person is angry, how the other person is reacting when I need them, all of these emotions, and then you can tell the other person what they need to change and what needs to become better in that relationship. And that's your takeaway from a fight, and you end up being stronger, which I have realized with my boyfriend as well, that I feel a lot stronger after a fight. It's emotionally draining, it's very hard, I hate fighting with him, But if we do fight, which is inevitable, I feel a lot closer to him because I conquer this another part of this his mind or his heart that I didn't know. So it's much better that I get to know him a little more with every fight. A healthy relationship also has a lot of clarity. We tell each other what we feel, and you need to tell that person exactly how you feel when you feel it. If you're bothered about something small, you tell them. If it's something big, you tell them. That's how it works out, and that's the only way it works out. Trust me, I've done it. It does not work out any other way. Another thing that I feel like is very important is reassurance. Since I told you this entire generation is so big on being scared and being vulnerable, we all need reassurance. Maybe a guy or a girl. We all want to be told that everything's okay, I still love you, I'm still here with you sometime. Everybody has days when they don't feel loved or where they don't feel enough. And those days, you need to give that other person some reassurance. I think, as somebody who needs a lot of reassurance, I do need a lot of reassurance. I also think my boyfriend also needs a lot of reassurance. I think somebody at some point will always need reassurance, and if you're with that person in a relationship, be there for that person and give a lot of reassurance to that person. So, in short, I think a reassurance can be a real game changer in a relationship. I feel like it's a very little thing for you to do. बहुत कम time लगता है to give reassurance to somebody and बहुत कम effort लगता है, but for the other person it can change a lot of things. It can change what they're thinking about the relationship, what they're thinking about you. Another thing is mutual effort. If you feel like you're the only person working towards making this relationship something, it would never work out. A relationship always needs two people to pour in the efforts, not one. And it only works out when both the people are putting that effort. I'm not saying you'll be on your 100% efforts, both of you on the same day. Some days you will have zero efforts to give and the other person will have to give 100%. Some days the other person will have 50 and you will have 50, and some days 70, 80. Whatever the amount and whatever the ratio is of efforts, just make sure if somebody you are low and he's putting the effort, another day if he's low, you're putting all the effort. And that's normal. If you're going to be with somebody for a long, long time or forever, there's going to be a lot of bad days of one person. There's going to be a lot of things where you will be low and he will have to put the effort, and vice versa. If you're putting effort some days, just make sure the other person is also putting effort some days. It's always equal effort, it's never one sided. Okay, the last thing is a rapid fire segment. Like all the episodes, we obviously have to do a rapid fire session. And there's 10 questions that took out, especially related to this episode. The first one is, what do you like more, clarity or chemistry? Clarity. I think that this episode has been all about it, but personally as well, more than fun, exciting stuff, I like the boring clarity in somebody. Consistent texting or meaningful time in person? Which one do you like more? I like meaningful time more in person because I think that is a lot more important for a relationship. That is a lot more valuable in a relationship. But I also like texting because if I can't call or like be available, I want to be constantly texting. So the priority goes to the meaningful time in person, but I also like the texting. What's your biggest turn off? Mixed signals or lack of efforts? I think lack of efforts, because if it's mixed signals, I would just not be with you. If it's lack of efforts, that's a big, big red flag. What do you fall for, actions or words? I think actions because, like we all know, actions speak louder than words, and words can be easily manipulated, and actions cannot. If you're with somebody and the vibe's real, it's cool. Just don't go on what they say. We can't be that trusting. What scares you more, a commitment or wasting time? I used to be very scared of commitment to an extent, but now I'm not, and I have committed. I'm very happily committed, guys, before anybody comes at me for this. So I'm not scared of commitment anymore. I'm very scared of wasting my time. I think my time is very valuable. So is yours, and we should not be wasting our time with somebody who doesn't deserve it. Passionate but unstable relationship or a stable but calm one? I think it answers in itself, a stable and a calm one, because I'm at that age where I'm working 24/7. I'm very busy. So I really want a stable but a very calm relationship where I'm not bothered mentally and I'm very much at peace so I can give my 100% to work. What are you more afraid of, being hurt or hurting somebody? I think being hurt, because I have been saying that I don't want to hurt somebody for the longest time, but I end up still being hurt by people. So now at this point, I'm just more scared of being hurt, as honestly as possible. I don't want to be um, diplomatic anymore. I'm just very scared of being hurt. What's your biggest green flag in somebody? I think my biggest green flag in somebody is honesty and transparency. The basic difference between honesty and transparency that people do not understand is that honesty is when I ask you, where are you? And you reply to me, this is where I am. And transparency is something where you tell me where you are when you are somewhere, when you reach somewhere, and I don't have to ask you. Like my boyfriend texts me, I've left home, I've reached office. It's like those little texts, but it's very transparent. When he's out somewhere, who he's with, he'll just tell me. So I don't have to ask him. And that's what I love in somebody, clearly. So that's my biggest green flag in somebody. What's my number one non negotiable in dating? I think my number one non negotiable is boundaries. When you have a different gender best friend, or you're going out at night, or you're going to a club, or drinking, or XYZ things, how you handle that person, how you handle your night outs. I think it's a very big thing for me because I have been through a lot of stuff where it's not ended up well for me. So just somebody who respects the boundaries, and not respecting my boundaries is a very big non-negotiable for me. The last one is, do you regret any of your past relationships? No, I don't. Even though I love that I'm not in any of them, and I love that I'm not with any of those people, I don't regret any of my last relationships because they all taught me so many other things, so many different things. Like, two relationships were never teaching me the same thing. And this is the reason why I'm sitting here today and why I can talk to you about for 30 minutes about what you should learn from these things, is because I've been through them. So I'm very glad that I went through them to learn so much. But yeah, just very glad that you're also not in my life anymore. Sorry, that was so rude. The real takeaway, and to finish this off, is that if you're in something that's feeling very confusing and you don't know where it's going and you don't know if the person really likes you, it's an answer in itself. Love is supposed to be a lot of work, but it's not supposed to be so confusing. It's supposed to be noisy, but it's not supposed to be so unsettling. So if you're with somebody who's making you feel all of these things, it's most likely that you're not with the right person. Somebody who is meant for you will give you a lot of calm, a lot of clarity, a lot of reassurance, and a lot of commitment. And they exist, and it's out there for you. You know, they say bhagwan ne sab kisi ke liye sabko banaya and all of that stuff. So like, that's true. I think you'll find somebody, and when you do find that person, you're going to be much, much more calm at heart. And I think that's a lot. That's very worth it. You know, I read somewhere, and I want to read this out. Love isn't supposed to feel like overthinking. It isn't supposed to feel like auditioning, and it is not supposed to feel like waiting to be chosen. A person meant for you will not keep you guessing. They won't make you compete with their options. They'll show up in simple moments, in real ways, in consistent effort. And this line is so, so, so strong. I read it somewhere on Instagram and I just had to take a screenshot and talk about it today because this is so deep in its own ways and it's so powerful. And I hope it makes as much sense to you as it made to me. Lastly, thank you for joining me in this episode. I don't know if I completely decoded the modern relationships or not, but I hope I gave you some help. If you're watching this, I hope you could relate to me a little bit, and I hope I made a little bit sense to you. I will see you at the next episode of the G Spot. But until then, choose clarity, choose peace, and choose yourself.